Hi, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. My name's Ursi, and today I'm offering my first free recorded mini reading for the Quantum Soul Guidance using Galactic Astrology. So my first practice session is with a subscriber named Quantum Chi. Hi, Quantum. I love that I can use a name that is not going to call out someone specifically as far as identity. So I've offered 5 free readings, and Quantum is the first. If you are interested in a reading, I think I have a couple slots left, but we definitely need birth date, the month, the day, and the year, the birth location, city, state, and country. And it's critical to have your birth time, because without the birth time, I'm so sorry, but we can't really get a real clear picture of your soul journey. Okay, let me begin with Quantum Chi. First of all, to get a free mini report reading, I went on www.starseeds, plural, astrology.com, starseedsastrology.com. And this is a free online calculator created by my teacher, Julia Balaz, who lives in Ireland. Anyway, it's a fascinating calculator. I wanted to learn more, and I've subsequently signed up for all of Julia's online classes, including a practitioner's course. So to become a practitioner and be certified, you got to practice and see how it relates and how it lands with people. Okay, so I am doing this from a playground perspective of fun and inspiration and joy. So my ego might feel a little afraid, like, oh, am I going to say the wrong thing? But this is an experiment, and let's test it for accuracy. Okay, so to do that, I am going to start sharing my screen to give you, I went on the Starseeds Astrology website, pulled out this report that you can get free online, and then I made it into a Word document so I could share it with a big screen as I'm doing now. All right, so how do we read this in your free mini report reading? First of all, we scroll down to the most distant planet called Pluto. Pluto is not visible with the naked eye. We can now see it with support with a telescope, etc. But we look to Pluto to find out if there are any conjunctions or oppositions to any particular star nations. So what you might see first, at first glance, is there's a lot of soul connections in Quantum Chi's report. Look at all these connections. Okay, but the first step is we go to find her soul's origin. So before her soul came into this solar system, this Milky Way consciousness or galaxy, she may not have begun on Earth. So we're looking for the star nation of origin. And when we find that from the distant planet Pluto, or Neptune or Uranus, but we start with Pluto, the outermost, we see that her Pluto is in Libra in the 11th house at 9 degrees Libra, 36 minutes. Now that's astrology speak, but I'm going to go right and keep this very simple. I'm going to go right to see if she has any conjunctions. This is trine, sextile, square. No conjunctions or oppositions on her Pluto line. If that's the case in a report that you might read, then you go to the next line up, again looking for oppositions or conjunctions. So we see on her Neptune line, which sits in the 2nd house of Sagittarius, 11 degrees Sagittarius, 15 minutes, she has both an opposition in the constellation Taurus and a conjunction to Scorpius, the constellation. All right, so in the class studies, we look for the closest orb. Both are in very close orb of 1 minute, 49 minutes and 1 minute, 48 seconds. But my intuition tells me, and you learn this in the class, a conjunction is a merged energy. I'm going to intuitively go with, even though it's, 0.01 minute more in Scorpius to the fixed star Antares, my sense is go with the conjunction, because that's a stronger, in astrology language, a much stronger connection. And opposition sits completely opposite the star sign. So those are the two indicators. I could be wrong, but let's move with, she first came in as an Antarian from Antares. And quantum chi, if you go on YouTube and you put in Antares star seeds, you are going to find a ton of very interesting material for free on YouTube. Now, also hold the thought that Taurus, the fixed star Aldebaran, has an opposition. So you could also look for star seeds Aldebaran on YouTube. But I'm going to go with you coming in and originating as an Antarian. Now, if you read your own report and you don't see any oppositions or conjunctions on your Pluto line or your Neptune line, then you move up to the Uranian line or Uranus, okay? So this is the fun part of the class. There's all these rules, and then of course there are those exceptions. Okay, so the next thing in your free mini reading is we go upward to your sun line. Here's your sun. And what we're looking for is your most recent lifetime, that you were on a star nation before this Earth incarnation. In other words, before you became the person known as Quantum Chi, where were you on another star nation? So again, we're looking for conjunctions or oppositions for your most recent lifetime off planet. We see a trine to your sun in Leo and a sextile, but no conjunctions or oppositions. We go to the moon, we see a square. Oh, well, look at here, we have an opposition. So quantum chi, your moon at 26 degrees Capricorn, 49 minutes, in the third house of communication, you have a soul connection to the fixed star named Procyon. Okay, so in the Canis Minor constellation is a fixed star called Procyon, and it is opposing your moon at an orb of 1 degree, 22 minutes. So in summary, we're going to say your most recent lifetime before this Earth incarnation was in the star nation Procyon. Go ahead and look that up on YouTube, either Canis Minor star seeds or Procyon star seeds. And your origination into this galaxy of Milky Way is with, we said, Antares in the constellation Scorpius. Okay, that usually sums up our mini free reading. So you can just get a taste, a brief taste of how the galactic astrology works within a soul reading. And yet, if you don't mind, I'm going to go a little bit longer because you have so many amazing constellations. Here's what I would recommend. In class, I said, let's play the constellation count game. So what you do is you write down Andromeda as a constellation and you count how many times does Andromeda show up for you, okay? And you can also put, well, Andromeda shows up for me on my sun, my moon, my north node, my south node, my Mercury, my Venus. Let's keep going. Andromeda shows up in my Saturn line. My goodness, Andromeda shows up. Oh yeah, this is the same Saturn line. Let's see, where else is Andromeda? Oh, my vertex, my Lilith, my Chiron. Holy mackerel, that's a lot of Andromeda. And so when you start counting how many constellations you have, their names, like we can do another count. Here's Orion. How many in Orion do you have? What we're going to do is start doing broad brushstrokes for identifying your star family, right? These are constellations with specific fixed stars. So let's count Orion. You have Orion to your sun, Orion to your midheaven, Orion with your Mars, Orion at your part of fortune, and Orion at your vertex. So that's a very broad brushstroke, but you start seeing the constellations, which, you know, it took me a while to understand constellation versus, here, I'll stop sharing for a moment. It took me a while to start figuring out, oh yeah, what's a constellation compared to a fixed star? You know, so if you can think of, okay, our Milky Way galaxy has many constellations in it. And so when you find your constellation, a fixed star is like our sun. And then there's planets that go around that fixed star. And this is new vocabulary, and I'm hoping that someone else who's new to the vocabulary will also appreciate this very slow, methodical, how do we frame the picture of your soul connections? Well, let me go back to your chart one more time. I just, you know, I just love looking at charts. Here we go. When you then, after you count up all your constellations, let's see which line has the most soul connections. Okay, and they're not in any order. A is not better than B. It's just a way of showing you, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 soul connections to your Mercury. Your Mercury is the, you know, the metaphor, the holding communication, both from the highest heights and the lowest depths. But it's in Virgo, and the 7 degrees of Virgo, 36 minutes in your 10th house of career. Wouldn't it be fun to imagine a narrative that you can call upon all of these constellations and star nations, okay, whenever you want to speak about your vocational path, okay, the how you present yourself in the world, your career. And career could also be interpreted as even what you do at home within your family. Okay, but guess what? Your Mercury can call upon the Andromedans, the Hyades, Aldebaran, the Sirius B folks in Mirza. You can call in and we can talk about Draco. And here's Antares. These are the names. If you've played with star nations and the mythology of the stars, this at least gives you a guiding path towards who are my star families? Where have I been? Let's come down here. Okay, Quantum Chi, the last thing I want to share with you is there are things called Stargates and Portals. This is oftentimes what we find with multi-dimensional souls who like to travel through many universes and galaxies. Now, in one level, we are all multi-dimensional, yes. And yet there are those who are even more, they've been around more. Okay, so I'm just going to call out a few Stargate portals to share. We're going to start with the Ring Nebula of Lyra. We've got that here. Let's see what else. Whenever you see the Galactic Center, that's also another portal. I'm not seeing it quickly as my puppy is asking me to feed it lunch. Let's see. We'll just say right now, from what I can see, your part of fortune, that which is your blessing, okay? You have an ability to move through the Ring Nebula of Lyra. Go find that image. NASA's got some great videos. Let me stop sharing for a minute. The Ring Nebula of Lyra. Imagine putting up a visual of that. When you want to call in your star family, when you want to meditate, now Quantum Chi, you're even more quantum. I hope this little short reading has helped. I'm excited to read a few more folks as I start learning how to get my footings and become a practitioner for quantum soul guidance with Julia Balaz. If you're interested in her teachings, you can find her also on starseeds.teachable.com. Ooh, I think I just saw a little orb come by. Thanks for visiting. You never know what's going to happen on the Ascension Playground. Feel free to ask me any questions in the chat line. And until next time, see you in quantum. Bye.